So let's look at a different module, which is slightly different from what we've been studying thus far. And that module has to do with biostatistics. Now, we are not really going to study biostatistics, we are really going to study statistics. And this study of statistics is going to be more of an introduction to statistics in order to be a feeder for a biostatistics class that you might want to take. And certainly, Dr. John Dawson at the Nutritional Sciences Department at the College of Human Sciences does have a course on biostatistics in nutrition, and that course is NS3542. And this is a great course to take. And this course will be more of an introduction, but we will look at some of the definitions of biostatistics. We have to revisit what is bioinformatics. So, bioinformatics remains and should exclusively be considered as a branch of science that supports experimental science. And this despite the fact that, people like me, we are practitioners of bioinformatics, but we also work on independent development within bioinformatics. But remember that even when we do independent development and not necessarily a bioinformatics service, we still, in the background, are trying to solve a biological related or a biomedical or a clinical problem. Okay, so contextually, it's still a biomedical problem, and we are introducing computational infrastructure. Okay, but remember, irrespective of whether you're providing a service that is in bioinformatics or a independent project, biology is always at the background. The reason I bring up the definition of bioinformatics is because in the first module we discussed about bioinformatics, and we discussed why bioinformatics, the definitions of bioinformatics were challenging. And the definitions of bioinformatics were challenging because people always sought to create a definition that was concise but made sure that everything was taken into account. Whereas there were some of the definitions were trying to be as detailed as possible, trying to be as all-encompassing as possible, and we realized that this was a struggle. Did you need a generic definition? Did you need a specific definition? And some of the reasons why you need definitions, and some of the struggles associated with the definition, and that is because bioinformatics is a new field. Some might consider it an immature field in the sense that it is still under development. It is still evolving. So, bioinformatics would not be possible without the biosciences. So, biostatistics is a branch of statistics responsible for the proper interpretation of scientific data generated in biology, public health, and other health sciences, that is, the biomedical sciences. So, this definition comes from Vanderbilt. Now, notice something, that it's a branch of statistics responsible for the proper interpretation of scientific data generated. Now, we all, no matter whether you use statistical methods, etc., we all generate and analyze data. So here we are talking about the use of statistics in the field of the biomedicine or the clinical field or the bioscience field. Here's one that comes from the University of Texas Health Sciences Center. And that is, the biostatistics is the application of statistics to a wide range of topics in biology, medicine, and public health. So again, they could literally stop there. But they want to make sure that you understand what kind of methodologies are available and what kinds of methodologies are used. It means that biostatisticians use mathematics, computer science, and computational biology to answer questions and solve problems in biology, medicine, and public health. Who are biostatisticians? Remember, we had this discussion on who are bioinformaticians, who are bioinformaticists. Biostatisticians are specialists in the evaluation of data as scientific evidence. They understand the generic construct of data, and they provide the mathematical framework that transcends the scientific context to generalize their findings. Their experiments include the design and conduct of experiments, the mode and manner in which data are collected, the analysis of data, and the interpretation of results. Here's another definition. So the previous one was from Vanderbilt, another one from the University of Texas Health Sciences, and that is, what is a biostatistician? And I have potential issues with this definition. We'll go through it and we'll see what those issues are. Biostatisticians play a key role in the design, conduct, and analysis of research studies, and they develop new methods to address emerging problems. Notice something, that this definition is not being placed in the context of statistics. Okay, if you replace the word biostatistician with any other a researcher in any other domain of science, and you essentially get the same result, right? So, for example, let's call a molecular biologist. A molecular biologist plays a key role in the design, conduct, and analysis of research studies and develop new methods to address emerging problems. So, for example, you could say that this definition becomes really great if you say biostatisticians use statistical methods, and that would significantly improve the definition. Areas where biostatistics are used: clinical trials, study, evaluation of treatment, screening, and prevention methods in humans. Study design differs, that is, randomized, blind studies, placebo-related studies, epidemiological studies, study the causes and origins of disease in human populations. They identify a group of people, monitor disease, and look for associations over time. Study designs differ, for example, case control, cohort studies, etc. Human genetics, study the genetic differences associated with disease states. Genomics, study biological activity of genes associated with disease and treatments. And if from the standpoint of bioinformatics, etc., you realize that genomics is where the applications are most seen. Spatial studies, studying the geographical distribution of disease risks, risk factors, etc. This comes from the University of Denver. Now, let's take a step back, because we are talking about using the foundation of statistics to begin our discussion, potential future discussions of biostatistics. What is statistics? Statistics is a discipline which is concerned with designing experiments and other data collection, summarizing information to aid understanding, drawing conclusions from data, estimating the present, or predicting the future. Okay, and for example, extrapolation would be one way to predict the future. And this comes from the University of Melbourne. Some applications of statistics in everyday life, and we can kind of rush through these: interpretation of evidence linking environmental factors and disease, design of experiments to evaluate effectiveness of pharmaceuticals, mining data to discover target segments in the population, market research to estimate demand for a new product, opinion polling in politics, estimation of the size of an animal population to aid in establishing regulations for conservation, reliability studies for determining warranties, improving the quality of a service or manufactured item, weather forecasting, analysis of errors in scientific experiments, prediction of stock market prices. Okay, this comes from Florida State University. Some of the concepts in biostatistics as well as statistics, and these are something that now you begin to understand this, and this comes from kind of the e-education portal called sailor.org, and this is a great portal to learn things for free. So Sailor is an e-portal, and you can go and learn anything that you want. There might be a fee structure associated with getting some sort of a diploma, but again, you can go and learn anything. It's a constantly evolving resource. They put a lot of new information. Very, 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 very important site. What is a population? It's a group of objects or individuals which are relevant to a study. So it's a subset of the overall population that is, for example, taken into account during a particular study. A sample is a subset of the population. That means not a subset of the population like we define population, but a subset of the population relevant to the study. Measurement, the numerical value determined for a property or the parameter to be measured. And what is a parameter? The property that is being measured. And what is a statistic? Is a number computed for that property for a sample or a population. Okay, so these are some terms. The ones that are highlighted in red are terms that are often just thrown about, and it's nice that if you know what those are. Some other additional concepts in biostatistics and statistics. What is statistics? Is a collection of methods for collecting, displaying, analyzing, and drawing conclusions from data. Descriptive statistics is a branch of statistics that involves organizing, displaying, and describing data. And the third is inferential statistics. Remember, we talked about predicting the future, drawing conclusions, making inferences, extrapolating. That involves inferential statistics. So, a branch of statistics that involves drawing conclusions based on available information related to a sample or a population. Some additional concepts: qualitative, and we understand qualitative, quantitative. Qualitative is more descriptive, quantitative is more associated with numbers. So, qualitative, descriptions and determinations that do not have a numerical value. Quantitative, descriptions and determinations that necessarily have a numerical value.